What's going on, everybody? So today I have a different video than normal. We're actually going to be going over some of your suggestions and some of your feedback. Now, I've gotten a lot of people commenting saying, wow, there's been a lot of videos, complaining about the game. And yeah, there have been. That's because at the current state of the game, in my opinion, they have a lot of bugs to work out, a lot of fixes to go ahead and make, especially even regarding bugs that have been in the game since day one. And then I've had people, come and tell me, oh, well, they can't fix it because it's a hard problem. It's like, that's not really a good excuse for me to not have my abilities work properly. But regardless of that, I wanted to talk about something a little bit different and give an open forum sort of for you all to post some more suggestions down below. But I made a video the other day called The Biggest Problem Diablo Immortal, and it really has to basically do with farming dungeons. Right now, the main two pillars of this game are farming open world for your legendary items and farming dungeons for your set items. Those are the basic two ways to get stronger in this game. You have 6 items on the right-hand side and 6 items on the left-hand side, and those are the two groups that you're going to go. Obviously, you have challenge rifts to upgrade your gear, you have upgrades on your gear, you have PvP, all this type of stuff, but those are the two pillars to make you a stronger character. Now, let's be honest here, the game heavily incentivizes you casual players out there. Most of you are probably Hell 4 or below and haven't even reached Hell 5 yet. That's kind of what the sense I get based on obviously some data, and then of course based on previous gacha games or mobile games in general that I've played, or just in general from my comment section. That's basically where I get the sense that most people are at, which means that this applies to you more so than me, because for someone who, is farming Hell 5, I don't really get these huge jumps where I have to replace my gear for combat rating. I can just go for the set items. But for you casual players, you can't really farm a crazy amount of dungeons, and you also can't really go ahead and get these sets because you need the combat rating to go ahead and advance to the next difficulty. So what I have here is basically I have a video I had the other day, biggest problem in Diablo Immortal. I posted this. I mean, right now it's actually about 5 hours ago that I posted this, so it's not even the other day. But there's a lot of suggestions in here and a lot of people that appreciate this, and I want to make this a little bit of a different video. It's not necessarily going to be just a straight up things that I think are problems with the game and then hoping Blizzard sees that. I'm going to see what you guys have to say here, and then just talk about some things that you have to say just randomly in the comments here. So the first thing is, an overwhelming majority of you guys basically said drop the buff, or buff the drop rates by X amount. This guy at the top, 50% increased drop rate. Add a system where you can consume 4 to 5 set items to re-roll for a random set piece. And this is something that I think is an amazing suggestion. And a lot of you like that suggestion here. This is something that actually is in D3. What you can do is you can drop a set piece in, you dump in crafting materials, and you can re-roll for a random set piece, but it can't be a high level piece in terms of stats. You can't get an ancient or a primal from that re-roll, and you can only get the base piece. And I think this is a really nice feature for people who are just looking to get certain set pieces. Now, keep in mind that you can only get in Diablo 3, a set item within its own set. For example, if you have a Vithus piece and it's a ring and you reroll it, you can only get a Vithus piece, but for any slot. I think that would be an actually really nice set of just a new mechanic in the game. Dump in, let's say, Enchanted Dust, I completely forgot the name, but the orange crafting materials, things like that, so you can re-roll it. Buffing drop rates, I think that does need to happen based on how many different dungeons you have to farm. Another thing to note in this game is that it's time gated, meaning the boosted drop rates are weekly, and so it's not really good enough to have a this low drop rate where you're farming one dungeon over and over and over again. You have to wait for another week to get the boosted drops. I think all dungeons should be boosted all the time. That seems like a very fair perspective to have, because realistically, if you get your piece, your one set piece that you need in that specific dungeon, you don't want to farm that dungeon anymore. But now you have to wait till the next week to farm it, which is a little bit of an issue. This second suggestion is a badge system. Like, wow, every dungeon you complete, you get a badge. Make a vendor that sells item pieces for either a random set piece or a specific piece. This is something that's very common in a lot of MMOs. For those of you that play Star Wars, for those of you that play Guild Wars 2, WoW, all these types of different games, they usually have dungeons where you get currency for that respective dungeon, and you can go spend it on specific items for that dungeon. I think that would be a very interesting mechanic and give you some consistency. Make it a high currency amount. Let's say you have to farm, I don't know, 100 dungeons to go ahead and get enough currency to pick one piece out. But you can actually pick a piece out from that dungeon. I think that that's a reasonable situation as well. Some people said, thank you for talking about this. Hopefully Blizzard see this. Well, I'm doubling down, so hopefully Blizzard does see this. Add salvage material for green items. So green items when salvaged should give a glowing shard and arcane dust. When you go ahead and collect that amount, you can go to gamble. So this is actually an interesting one. Basically, when you farm green items, you get a unique currency for your green items, and then have the gambler have an additional section to where you spend those materials to go get a random set piece. This is actually a suggestion that's really unique, and I really enjoy. This gives you some sort of interest in farming any dungeon whatsoever, and doesn't feel bad when you get an item that's not your set and it's not exceptional. Like that, I don't know about you all, but when you farm and you get those items, you spend, I don't know, an hour and you get one item and it's not your set item, you're just like, oh, well, that was a big waste of an hour. This kind of changes that to where, well, at least I'm progressing towards a gamble that might actually get me an item. And in this suggestion, they say specific slots would be really, really cool. Definitely super interesting. And then this one said they should just add a system where you can pre-select a set upon entering a dungeon. This is actually a very, very interesting one. The only problem I see with this one, if you're, well, I guess in this case, they're talking about selecting, hey, I want a Vithus piece, and you could say, oh, well, that's like a 50% chance to drop, and all the other ones are a lower chance to drop. I actually kind of like this. I'm not sure why they don't do this as an event. For other mobile games, you have like free gear enhancement, or not gear enhancement, gear removal. You have cheaper gear enhancement. You have whatever it is, double legendary rolls. I'm surprised that Diablo Immortal hasn't done something like this. Hey, for this week and this week alone, you can choose a set and you get a 50% chance to drop that set in any dungeon that you choose. That, to me, would bring a lot of players out and farm dungeons for that week. It would encourage some huge playing time in that week or during that event. I'm not sure why Diablo doesn't go this route for events, because it's a mobile game and it very fits the bill. There are a lot of other suggestions here. Let me just see. Then you make it possible to trade between teammates. Now, this is something that I definitely think that is on the stronger side, but something that I think is a really, really fun idea. I think trading between teammates is not a bad idea. I think it encourages more of the team-oriented thing, which might be a bad thing, but I don't dislike the suggestion. And this is an important thing. They said when someone else finds a set piece, they automatically transfer to strength and intelligence. Now, this is not necessarily what they said, but this is an important point that I need to make. They really should make all set items equipable by all classes, regardless of strength and intelligence. Then there's, of course, a bunch of people saying that they farm for hours upon hours, that they haven't gotten what they've done. They said 304, this person said 304 dungeons is my last item drop. That obviously is progressing their account. Not a single item drop with 15% in any dungeon. Max my battle pass in 1 day. Farming dungeons definitely happens very quickly. Replace it with an aspect of Adept and Prodigy method of progression where you get to choose your set instead of having the boosted dungeons. There's a lot of different suggestions here. This one, guarantee one party member gets a green every run, or it counts and it's every 3 as a group. Interesting idea. Again, there's just a bunch of people talking about how this is the worst thing in the game, low drop rate, odds against the item you need, etc., etc. There's just a ton of people that really agree. And honestly, this is one of the few videos where I feel like a lot of people are just kind of voicing their concerns and wishing that the game was a little bit more interesting and a little bit more rewarding for their time invested for dungeon farming. And so I hope that Blizzard sees this. I hope that they may take one of these or all these suggestions to heart and maybe change something about set items. Again, I wanted to make this video a little bit different than the previous ones because I do think, and look, so many great ideas in this comment section from this one that this guy noticed, but I think that it is important to remain a little bit more positive if you're trying to enjoy the game and you do have a community that enjoys the game. It's no one likes to hear their game sucks, right? That's just kind of what it is. So I want to make a little bit of a different video. Even though I absolutely stand by every video that I've made and believe that those are problems in the game, I just thought we would do something a little bit different, kind of go over some of your comments in my previous video. So let me know if you enjoyed this type of content. Of course, I will know just by how many people are watching, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Again, if you leave a comment, maybe I'll do a follow-up video on this video on what you all said. You know, based on your suggestions, things like that. But I feel like a lot of people left a lot of suggestions and a lot of people had something to say about this topic. So clearly something here is an issue with the game if there's this many people talking about this specific topic and how it's their biggest issue with the game. So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully Blizzard sees this. The more people that watch it, the more people that like it, the more it gets pushed out. Maybe a Blizzard developer will see it. I know they watch our videos sometimes, so that will be cool. Again, hopefully they do something here because I do think this is a major problem and it could be one of the big things that turn off people from this game. And obviously I want this game to be as successful as possible. So with that being said, hopefully you did enjoy and I will see you in the next video.